Coming to you from 8122 Production Studios in the heart of the 607, this is Horror Zone 607. Like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter. And remember, you can always join the conversation using hashtag HZ607.
Welcome to Horror Zone 607, the podcast where we talk all things horror and bring you the week's biggest horror movie news. I'm your host, Mike C., hiding from a bunker in an undisclosed location this week, but the guys are in the studio. We're bringing you horror movie news, what we have of it, and we're going to continue on right now, and we're going to just keep having fun. You guys need fun out there. We want to have fun. But I can't have fun alone. No. I want to just spread the joy, and I want you guys to have fun with our co-hosts, with the best guys in the business. First, he will satisfy you on every level. He is the one and only Rich.
That's right. I'm all about satisfaction. Of course, it's kind of funny because the way you sound is like bunker radio.
Yeah.
It's great.
This is fantastic.
This is actually working out better than I thought when I said you could do this remotely.
Well, it's true. I'm bunkered down right now, so
bunkered, not hunkered.
Yeah, he's from an undisclosed location, so you folks don't know that he's been hoarding all the teepee.
yeah. I have a total of about 6 rolls, so I have really I've been a glutton this year.
Rolling deep.
Yeah. Hey, since this whole thing,
rolling
in the last 2 weeks, my wife was telling me we're a family of 3, and we've only gone through 2 rolls in the last 6 weeks. So I don't think that it's necessary to have 15 megapacks.
No, it
Just
isn't.
saying.
Yeah.
Just one or two slices, right? One or two sheets. That's all
we haven't even hit rationing yet. I still have some left over.
Unless you have some explosive diarrhea and you really need a few.
That's why you got to limit the Taco Bell intake during these times.
And that's going to be next week's topic on Horror Zone 607.
Taco Bell?
That's real life horror and a toilet paper shortage.
Oh, man.
Yeah. But you also hear the other gentleman in the studio. He's been showing up more and more, and he's here again this week. He is the smartest man in all of horror podcasting. Welcome back, the Professor.
Well, hello. How are you?
Hello.
Well, I was going to say, well, it's easier for him to show up these days because he's kind of
teaching remotely.
He's teaching remotely.
He's an out-of-work professor right now. So.
Well, he's not out of work. He's still working.
No, I'm working. I'm working from home.
But he's remotely working, like you are remotely doing this podcast. He is remotely doing his job.
Yeah, I'm
so this is what it feels like to work remotely.
Teaching online. Teaching online. It's not my first rodeo. I've taught online before. Just keeping spring break started very early for one of the schools I teach at. And, I have a lot of extra time now because I've done this before and I got everything online very early as compared to a lot of other teachers. So, here I am.
Good job.
Thanks.
You're keeping unsung heroes are the teachers who are doing things remotely these days.
Yeah.
Especially those older ones that didn't know how to use that system.
Well, I'm hoping my bosses are keeping a list and, these are the people that needed so much work and, maybe they shouldn't get the full-time jobs and I should get a full-time job.
He's weaseled his way in.
Yeah.
You get a full-time job and you get a full-time job. That's going to be you, buddy. There's not going to be anybody left after all this is done. You're going to be taken over.
I'll reap all the benefits.
All right, well, we're obviously in the middle of a crisis right now, a worldwide crisis, but we've got some horror movie news. You guys want to jump into that?
Yeah, this could be the last week of horror movie news. I don't know.
Then we're gonna have to go. We're gonna go back in time. We're gonna have to look at horror of the past for a while.
But don't you fret, listeners.
Yeah, it'd be like listening to one of the old Casey Kasem's top 40. From like 1987.
Don't you fret, listeners, because we will come to you every week.
With new content.
We'll still have new content. We'll have a lot of fun, a lot more reviews, a lot more diving
the
into
format
different
might
things.
change
Man.
a little
Talking about some more obscure things, some older things that people may have forgotten about. You know,
I'm real excited. In a couple weeks, I'm just gonna drop the bombshell. In a couple weeks, we're gonna review April Fool's Day.
Yeah.
One of my favorite horror movies of all time.
We are.
So we're gonna be watching that right around April Fool's Day, and maybe I don't know. It depends on the recording schedule. We might even record it on April Fool's Day. Who knows? But we'll be watching that, and I'm excited because
we should
love
do a
that
live
movie.
commentary track of April Fool's, kind of like Mystery Science Theater.
We could try.
We should do it remotely.
But Mike,
do it via
me
Skype
and
and
you,
record
we could watch it together, and Mike's gotta watch somewhere
He'll
else.
be one
I
of the
guess.
robots, like
We just put we put the Skype. He can watch it from Skype. We just turn it towards the TV.
Yeah.
So he's got to watch it through the little screen on his phone because he can only do Skype on his phone. I mean, he could do it on other things, but we're only going to allow him to do it.
We've got to build a dummy of Mike in the
for the studio.
too. Yeah.
Oh, you know what we could do? We could build a dummy, and we could actually put the iPad that we're using Skype for
On his face?
on the face, and he could look at us.
There you go.
It would be like some real Big Bang Theory shit when Sheldon got sick. I'm so sad that I know that.
I don't.
I'm just so sad that I know that. Anyways, Mike,
I'm sad that you know that.
Mike, kick us off with our possibly our last horror movie news for a while. I mean, obviously, if something breaks, we'll talk about it. But right now, it's slow times because I think the first news you should have mentioned is that everything's canceled.
Pop culture is canceled.
World's over.
Yeah, we'll jump right into that. So, it started out, my first thing on the list is A Quiet Place Part 2 has been indefinitely removed from release, but everything has been at this point. So,
Ta-da!
so there is nothing right now that's in production or that's going to be coming out anytime
Vanishing.
soon. And we don't know.
Ooh, The Vanishing?
We don't know when they will be
The
released.
Vanishing.
You know what the worst part about this is? Remember all those shows that we built up in the beginning of the year where we were excited to see movies that were coming out in 2020? Forget about that shit because most of those are gone.
And Batman too.
Well, I'll tell you what,
Going back to
2021
Batman.
is looking good right now.
2021 is going to be the greatest year of movies ever because they already had shit on the
It's gonna be
docket,
the
and now they're
best
going to have all
year.
the 2020 movies.
Yeah.
Too.
Yep.
Well, that's if everything's over by then. Well, hopefully this is over. Hopefully this is over by the summer, at the least the end of the summer blockbuster series. If this pushes back Halloween Kills, I'm done. I'm going to fight
Halloween Kills?
If Halloween Kills gets pushed back, guess what I'm going to do? I'm going to fight the COVID-19 myself.
Yeah.
I'm going to go to war with it. Me and it are going to battle, and I'm not talking about getting it and my immune system kicking its ass because that could happen. I'm talking about I'm physically going to figure out how to fight it.
Well,
I don't care if I have to punch a person in the face that has it.
I'm right there with you.
It out.
I'm still pissed about Bond, man. Even
I'm
though
pissed
that's not
about
a
it
horror
too,
movie,
yeah.
like holy shit, I have to wait another 6 months for Bond. That's selfish.
There's a lot of
people are. This is not. Yeah, that's selfish.
Hey, listen, I
Not to be
feel like this. Here's the thing. I think anybody listening right now, and we were not going to talk about a lot of virus stuff just because we're trying to get you away from that. I mean, this week we obviously have to a little bit because the news is related to it. In the future, you're not going to hear a lot about it except for maybe making us a joke about the bunker. With all jokes aside, I hope everybody realizes. I hope everybody does realize that honestly, we obviously are worried about people's health and safety. Obviously, that's why Mike is not here and in an undisclosed bunker instead of being in studio. And so we are worried, but at the same time, there is a part of selfishness that has to take over.
Yeah, there is
a
I
part of
sincerely was looking forward to James Bond.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm a fan of a lot of things, man. James Bond, I'm looking forward to. Obviously, Ghostbusters is now on the line.
Yeah,
which sucks because we've literally been waiting like most of my life for that fucking movie. Like, it's bad. Like, and so I feel like, and I'm a James Bond fan just like you.
Yeah,
you know, Batman's gonna get pushed back because they just stopped production on that and all sorts of other stuff. So like,
safety first.
Safety first. Trust me. Without, I think it goes without being said. But if we have to say it for somebody out there that thinks that we don't care, we obviously have big hearts, and it's proof in the fact that our host is not here.
Yeah.
But and trust me, sorry, do not send the hell get well letters. He does not have coronavirus, and neither do me or Ray.
Playing it safe.
Me and the professor also do not have coronavirus. He just has issues where we won't disclose your medical history, but he has issues where we're trying to keep him safe. So therefore, he's the Elephant Man. You guys don't. This is why we do a podcast. Mike sees actually the Elephant Man.
Yeah.
He's got. You
don't see many pictures of him.
That or the mask.
It'll work.
Or he looks like what Jason looked like before.
Something.
I'm just joking, but
Wouldn't
no.
it be
In all seriousness, I just want to throw that out
Jason?
there. I want to throw that out there before we go any further. So if you hear us being bummed out about something, I'm sure you guys are also bummed out about it.
Yeah,
That's
it's
just
not
life.
because we're being selfish and oh, woe is me. I don't get the pop culture things that I want. It's we care for people. more than anything.
Yeah.
But it does suck that we don't get to see
Yeah.
these things.
So I mean, obviously,
Well,
bringing the entertainment in.
To be fair, Professor, you don't care about anybody,
That's
including yourself.
Yeah, that's
Well, that's why he's a
Including
drifter.
yourself.
yeah.
That's why he's a drifter.
Yeah.
Well, I don't want to split hairs, but I don't.
He's a drifter. He walks around with his acoustic guitar sling over his shoulder, and he just plays random rock concerts. When you think about the
True.
Professor, just think about a smaller version of Elias from WWE. That's the Professor.
Yeah.
He's
All
the
right,
drifter.
yeah.
It's good. We
He
love
is
it.
the drifter.
That's why we love him for it. See, that's why he said one of the many schools he works for. He basically just drifts in and out of colleges. That's all he does.
Yeah, that's what I
really.
do. That's,
Think Robin Williams from
Right.
from Goodwill Hunting.
Yeah, next
Yeah.
week he'll be at Bunker Hill Community College.
It's pretty
Yeah,
good.
I just community
Everybody
colleges across
mark your
New York
calendar.
State. I travel through. I lay down my lessons and move on. It's like the old West.
Yeah.
And as he leaves, he plays a tune on his way out the door on that sixth string.
Learn your subject verb agreement. Burp.
Continue on.
Well-
so we have a lot of cancellations. Let's just put it
Yeah.
this way: everything that was coming out in the theaters is Kaputski. We obviously know why. There's a lot of bans. People stay safe. I guess theaters are not a good place to be. Of course, closed air supply. If somebody is sick on something
Recycled air.
that you can get, definitely airborne. So yeah, I think it is the smart thing to do. I will give them credit. To close theaters is the smart thing to do.
Yes.
Now, open
Right.
stadiums for baseball season, I'm not so much a fan of.
Yeah.
Because it's outside. I mean, I guess
Well-
I could get on surfaces, but it's outside.
Yeah, but you're still in close proximity to
That's
thousands
true.
of people, and if anybody coughs,
So how about we do every
you know,
fourth seat?
talks.
Every fourth seat.
Yeah.
Every fourth seat. So you get 4 seats a
There you
room,
go.
even if it's somebody you know. 4 seats a room. Every 4. I mean, it cuts the ticket price. It maybe raises ticket prices a little bit, but people have extra money now that they can't go see movies. They can't go out and eat dinner. I mean, you can go out and get takeout. In our state, some states you can't even do that. So
Yeah, geez.
thankfully, New York is just
That's
you
a
can
good
get takeout. So you could have more money. I'm going to get off my high horse there, but still, everything is canceled. But I know you have some really cool news that Universal is leading the pack on, right?
Yes, Universal is going to be releasing The Hunt, which just finally hit theaters this past weekend. They're going to be releasing The Hunt and The Invisible Man on VOD this Friday, March 20th.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to be $19.99, and you'll get them for 48 hours.
Yeah. I think that it's the price is whatever, but it is technically a price of a movie ticket if
Yeah.
you were going to see it with
Hey,
multiple
the
people.
price
So if
is
you
right. The price is
Wait,
right.
$19.99?
Are you sure that's the
Yeah,
price?
$19.99, which
20
I think
bucks?
is kind of steep for a rental.
Is that really
But
for
at
the
the
rent?
same time, you think if you're going to take a family to a
That's
movie,
true.
like you take your
Yeah,
spouse,
no.
your
You know
kids.
what? Oh, because
Yeah,
they're not
yeah,
calling
yeah,
them movies;
yeah,
they're calling
yeah.
them premieres. So I
Yeah.
feel like I think you're right. Actually,
That's
I'm
right.
not
That's
even going
good.
to shit. I'm not even going to shit on them for
No,
20
that's good.
bucks, and some people for
And
20
everybody
bucks.
gets
Think
to
about it,
watch
you can
it, yeah.
watch it multiple times because you get it for 48 hours.
Yeah, yeah.
And if you think about it, if you were to go to a theater, just me and you, and
Yeah.
pay a ticket price, not unlimited,
It would
but
be
just me and
20
you,
bucks.
it would be like if on a Friday night, it would be $26, $13 a piece. So I mean, you're saving $6 on going to the theater. You get to stay at home. You can watch it, and then you could watch it with 2 different groups of people. Watch it twice, watch it 3 times.
Yeah.
Because think about it, if you watch it twice, also same rules apply if you're by yourself.
Yeah.
So I mean, I'm not upset about
That's
it
a good
because
price,
at least they're trying to do something, and they have to. Honestly, people, they have to recoup some of the money.
Yeah.
And that's the bad
Right.
part about it. They've
They're
lost
still a
a ton
business,
of
yeah.
money because I know you have the numbers. What was the numbers in the theaters for some of those movies, Mike?
Yeah, The Hunt made $5 million here in the States on a $15 million budget. There's no international numbers to report at this time on that. So
Well, I feel like
you
The
know-
Invisible Man should be free.
The Invisible Man, yeah, the Invisible Man should be cheaper. They made their money back, so
They made
Yeah.
hundreds of
Stop
millions of
being-
dollars.
stop
the thing
being
with
greedy.
that was on its way to a $200 million
Yeah.
showing.
Okay, so
and,
that one-
you
that
know,
one they
it's
should
gonna
stop
be
being
kinda
greedy.
cut off.
Can we just get that one for free?
You know what? We should do buy one get one free. You buy
Yeah.
the Hunt, you get
The
Invisible Man for free, just because it made it money. But and then also Bloodshot did what, $9 million, right?
Bloodshot made 9.3 here in the States. It actually did make 13 million overseas, so it made 22.3 million on its opening weekend.
bad.
It did have a $45 million budget.
Usually
it's going
this
to
is
take
where
a
we would
loss.
hit the fail horn, but unfortunately it's not a fail horn because these movies are not failing because they were bad and people didn't just go because they were bad. These movies are failing
Right.
because the theaters were empty. Ron, who is sometimes on the show, is always on Three Fat Nerds as one of my co-hosts, but he's sometimes you recognize him from this show as well. He went to see The Hunt Hunt this past weekend on a Friday at 6 p.m. at our local Regal Cinema, and he said him and one other people were there. The threat was he was like there was nobody in the theater, but in that theater alone there was just 2 people for that showing, so it was almost a private showing.
Yeah.
And on top of that, in the theater as a whole, he was like in the lobby area, there was nobody. He went to see 6 movies with his unlimited pass before they closed down the theaters. He went to see 6 movies this past weekend just because he was trying to get stuff in, and he said that there was not a showing with more than 5 people out of any of the movies he's seen. And the one that had 5 is he went to see that Onward. Is that the one?
The Pixar
movie. And that was the one. And there was 5 people. The only reason there was 5 people, he said, is because there was a guy and his 2 kids, and then him and then some other random woman. He said that's the only reason that there was 5 people, because there was a family of 3. If not, there would have only been 3 people. So I mean, that's the reason they're underperforming. It's not because they were bad movies. He said The Hunt was enjoyable. He said it wasn't as good as Surviving the Game, which of course, if you remember, that's the old Ice-T movie that had kind of the same thing with Rutger Hauer.
Yeah.
That movie's great though.
Gary
Busey's in that movie as well.
Yeah, anything with Rutger Hauer is going to be interesting.
I love that movie. Yeah, I don't know if it's horror, but we should talk about it sometime because it's a great movie. But yeah, he said it wasn't as good as that, but that movie's superbly good. He was like, but it was entertaining for what it was. He said there was some stuff that he didn't like, but he was like, for the most part, entertaining.
Cool.
Not as good as Invisible Man, according to him.
Okay, yeah. Well, Invisible Man's exceptionally good.
Oh yeah. So there you have it for that. I mean, it sucks, man. The theaters are down. But at least
people are scared. People are scared, and I understand why they wouldn't go. You know, it makes sense, and people are being directed not to. You know, so it is what it is.
But let's get into some happier news, Mike.
Yeah.
Let's leave the cancel culture.
Okay,
get out of the cancel culture. Let's get into
I had one more thing to go with this.
Oh, okay,
maybe we consider this happy.
Oh, okay, what?
You know, it's expected that the movie industry is going to lose $20 billion during the shutdown. So
I don't know if that's happy.
That's not good.
That means some of the movies we thought we were going to get in 2021, 2022 are not coming to you. Also, say goodbye to Avatar 2 if you were looking forward to that one.
Yeah. Fuck James Cameron and fuck those movies.
Christmas?
That's the only good thing
this have happened
about
before Black Christmas. That's all I want to know.
I just want to throw this out there. We're going to be talking about this on the 3 Fat Nerds podcast this upcoming week. So next week, tune in to that if you want to hear more on this. It's bad enough in the movie industry right now that there's allegedly a thing going around that Apple may purchase Disney. I'm not even joking.
I saw that this morning too.
And it's not a joke. It's a real thing that people think is going to possibly happen.
Yeah.
So we're going to talk about that in depth there because that's more about nerd stuff. But yeah, so $20 billion losing by the movie company just because of this, it could be a bad thing for all.
Anything where James Cameron loses, I'm pretty happy about.
So you're a man of mixed emotions right now.
Yeah,
you really are. What an awful human being.
Yeah, James Cameron sucks.
All right, Mike. Let's get into happier news, though.
Yeah,
because there is some happy news this week. Yeah, let's do some happy.
Right,
happy,
we did have some happy news.
Happy.
So the first thing is, if we're sticking with movies, Scream 5 is happening.
It's back on, baby. Woo! Hopefully it doesn't get canceled in the wrist, but we're back on, baby. Woo! I'm excited about that.
I'm actually really excited to kind of revisit those movies because I've always had an unfair. I don't know why, but I never really bought into Scream. Back when it first came out, I didn't think it was very scary, and I didn't really like it. But the more I've talked to people, that there's like such a passionate fan base, and I do love Wes Craven, and like it was just a bad late '90s, early aughts was a bad time for art in general. I think like music was kind of shitty back then, like you had new metal and all that kind of stuff going on. So like it was a weird time, and you had the Scream clones, and I think those kind of like painted a bad picture of Scream for me, so I'm very excited to get back into that series, check it out, and rewatch those movies, and I'm very excited for Scream 5.
I think with fresh eyes you might be a little more fair now.
Yeah.
And the reason I say that is I've always been a fan, but I've been a fan because I'm not going to say like make it sound like I was special because I got it because a lot of people did. At that point in juncture, things needed to change and be different.
Yeah,
and the Scream series was that difference. You're right. They're not very scary. Honestly, the movies aren't very scary at all. But it was for that time. Scary wasn't necessarily vogue. We weren't in a bad situation. When horror thrives, is when shit's going downhill politically and in countries. And think about it. I'm not making a commentary on things, but it's true. In the 80s, with the whole Reagan stuff and all that happening, was one of the golden eras of horror. In the early 2000s, with the debacles that we had there in 9/11, everything, horror came back into vogue. Later on, it came back
lighter,
into maybe. So in the 90s, think about it. In the late 90s, it was actually a good time. Now, mind you, we know now that time led to a lot of our financial woes in the early 2000s that led to another horror boom. But think about it. That's why horror went out. Yeah. That's why it wasn't vogue, because everybody was having a decent time. Nobody wanted to get brought down by things. So you had to find a way to make horror fun, to make it work. And Wes Craven, being the genius he is, and you have to give him credit for this, found a way to make it meta. He took the concept and went, okay, we know that all the fans know all this. They all know that the person who has premarital sex dies. They all know that the person who's doing drug dies. They all know all the rules of horror movies, if you will. I'll be right back. We make fun of it on the show even. But he took all of that, put it into the bundle that was Scream, which is a whodunit at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Basically, it's a whodunit with a slasher vibe. So there's killings with that's the slasher portion, but the most of it is a whodunit, and that's what was genius. And it made it meta, and it's fun to watch. Yeah. And I think that's why I liked it. I think that's why a lot of other people liked it. But I get being as a horror fan, why people are thrown off. Yeah.
I just being the professor, I like to be. I think a horror movie, its intent should be to scare the shit out of people. So when it doesn't do that, I was kind of, this isn't technically a horror movie, but that's just me being me.
Yeah, but I think you're coming around to now. It might be your old. It might be old age. You're lightening up.
I'm lightening up.
Because think about it. I think we all thought pretty well of Ready or Not.
I'll take it back. I love James Cameron. I hope he does well.
And I'm ready to. I'm not ready. I'm glad that you mentioned Ready or Not, because that was the other big news that came along with this. Not only is Scream 5 going to be happening, but Ready or Not directors Matt Bettinelli-Olpin and Tyler Gillette, 2/3 of Radio Silence, they're going to be directing this movie.
That's awesome.
The other member of Radio Silence, Chad Villela, is going to be, along with Kevin Williamson, who's the original writer of 3 of the 4 Scream movies, are going to be executive producing.
Okay.
So that's some pretty big news right there.
This movie's in really good hands.
Okay.
I mean, Ready or Not is not a Scream clone, because it's not.
That was another fun horror movie.
But it's a fun horror movie, so they get how to make a fun horror movie. So you're not taking guys who are from the world of extreme horror, where they don't get making fun movies, and you don't have a guy who's just making comedies, making it and going, oh, we're just going to put dark stuff in it, huh? So you're getting guys who know horror and comedy and know how to balance it, because they did such a good job there. So I feel like you're going to see that. It's good hands. It should be. It looks like everything's coming together for this movie to be good. Yes. Hopefully it is. And I thought 4 wasn't the best movie, but 4 it did what Scream. It did the
4 didn't fit.
4, but it did in a way, because it did what the original Scream did.
4.
Because here's what I'm saying. It was the most like the original Scream in the sense that you didn't know who the killer was.
Yeah.
Like every other movie, let's be honest,
had like a Scooby-Doo element.
It had a Scooby-Doo element to it. It really did. Because the first one, was the original. So this the OG, you did something different. In the second movie, let's think about it. The one character we didn't even know was the fucking mother of Billy Loomis the whole time.
Yeah,
she just kept showing up, so it didn't really make sense at the
Laurie
end.
Metcalf, right?
It's kind of like So it's kind of like equated to part 5 of Friday the 13th. Like that Roy revealed that his son got axed up. We didn't know that was his kid, and you don't know until the end of the movie.
Yeah,
so it doesn't. You don't feel for it. I mean, I get the Timothy Olyphant being the other killer. He was in the movie the whole time, and it made sense, like that set up. But having the second one, they just did it for the sake. And then in the third movie, they do the same thing to you. In the third movie, you find out some shit you didn't know, and then all of a sudden she has a brother she didn't know about. And there wasn't a second killer, which is fine. I never was offended by knowing the second killer. But it's like you find out these earth-shaking things at the end, and it's just like...
And it's like a supervillain speech, a lot of exposition, expository dialogue, like, oh, I did this because of this, and burr, burr, burr.
I mean, the only real reveal for the original one is that Skeet Ulrich's dad was banging her mom, and that's why they killed her mom.
Yeah.
But outside of that, the other part of it was just explained by Matthew Lillard is just like, oh, we just want to have fun.
Yeah.
Like, fuck.
Which
like,
is the
what
fucked
works.
up.
It works. It's crazy.
Matthew Lillard's character, I really dug.
By the way, the ending of that where he's just like, especially like when he's coming in and out, when he's I'm feeling a little woozy here.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, it's funny, but at the same time, you're like, oh, he's fucking crazy. He doesn't. Oh, are you really going to tell my mom?
Yeah.
My mom and dad are going to kill me.
He's so good.
Like, it's like, it shows somebody who's,
amazing in that.
but yeah, that's what I'm saying. It shows somebody who's so fucking crazy that their biggest worry in the world isn't going to jail. It's their mom and dad going to bust them.
Yeah.
And like, so you go to 4, and finally in 4, the killer to me made a little bit of sense. And the reason I say that is because, first of all, it was a good whodunit. You didn't know, just like the first one. The whodunit goes on forever, and then you find out. But it made sense because in this day and age, because it was very relative to what's going on in the internet, in the clickbait, I want to be famous, I want to be Insta famous on Instagram and stuff, to have the killer be the girl who's like, hey, I'm going to take your fame. Yeah. I was only a killer, so that I can make it look like I survived him being the killer, so that way I can be you. Because you were famous, and I want that fame. It was like, oh, it wasn't a stretch. It wasn't this long, like, you know, she was obviously crazy too, but it wasn't this long, drawn out, like, hey, you know, you didn't know who I was.
Well, you slept with this person.
There you go.
Yep.
And I'm just saying, and, you know, the only thing that 2 did good is that for a while you thought the Cotton might be the second killer.
Yeah.
Like, that was the only thing that they did decent there. But
Nice.
I mean, I like I said, I like 2. Don't get me wrong. I like Scream 2. I'm a big fan of actually the whole series. But I'm just saying, if you look at, that's why I like 4 though, because it took you back to the original, and it even made fun of itself. Because that opening sequence where they have all the openings, because it just keeps making fun of itself. And I'm like, okay, that's cool that you're making fun of yourself. At this point, you have to. So I hope that they keep that kind of fun atmosphere in 5. And I don't know where you go from here. Maybe Sydney's the killer. I don't know. That's where I would go.
Well, they haven't said that it's going to be in canon. They haven't mentioned any of that, so we don't know.
We don't even know if
the
Nev
only thing
Campbell.
they mentioned is they did say that it's going to be a woman returns to her home to unravel a mystery. So we don't even know that it's going to be following the same story.
I got to think of this day and age it will be.
Yeah.
I honestly think it is. No, honestly, in this day and age
Gotta milk
of how
that
they're
nostalgia.
how they're making movies now, and I'm not complaining because they've done a good job in a lot of them. When they're putting stuff in, they're canon. They might be outside canon, but they're canon in a way, and I think that would be a good idea. She goes away, everything's over, she has to come home because something's happening. And you're like, oh, shit, this again. But
well,
once
that's
again,
kind of what happened in the 4th one, though.
Yeah.
Of course, she was more on a book tour.
She was on a book tour. But I'm just saying, but that's the smartest way to keep everything coherent. I think this time you need to kill that cast off. She either needs to die or be the killer.
Yeah.
And either way, she dies, because if you're the killer.
How crazy would it be opening scene, she dies and then comes back and it's revealed she's the killer? Let's do it both.
You know, I always thought they should have done that.
Honestly, there's a lot you can get out of it.
Well, I had another idea, too. I had another idea with this, too, before they even announced this. I've always thought, what if Jill was still alive? They've never had one of the killers come back. The killer gets killed in every one of the movies.
Yeah.
What if Jill survived that?
That's true. That's true.
Yeah, that's good.
There's a lot of cool, like, honestly, I think there's a lot that you could.
Are you listening, Hollywood? Give us writing credits.
Yeah, we probably should. But if you think about it, there's a lot of cool, that franchise in particular, there's a lot of cool stuff you can do, because the bounds are endless. You know, I like it better when they make a little more sense, and that's why I said I did like 4, and I'm agreeing with the professor. I like 4 a lot. I consider 4 the closest to 1 because it made the most sense.
Yeah.
As far as how it progressed. And at the end, you didn't have to have, like, when she just says that I'm doing this to be famous, you're like, okay, I get it.
I did really like 4. And now that I think back on why I dislike, I was such a snob when I was a kid. Oh man, like, Scream don't scare me. Yeah, god damn it.
It's okay. It's okay. We got better tastes as we age.
Yeah.
It's like fine wines.
Yeah.
What other good news you got, Mike?
So another movie that's going to be coming back around. We did mention, God, it's got to be about a year ago. There was talk of another Final Destination movie.
Yes.
And they're actually moving forward with that. They said that it is actually going to be in canon with the other films. So it's not going to be a remake or a reboot. Patrick Melton and Marcus Dunstan will be writing the film. And basically, producer Craig Perry said they're going to be toying with the idea of taking it to a place in the world of first responders, which is kind of a cool idea.
Well, I'm a fan. Those movies are another one that are not scary, but you don't watch those movies for the horror. You watch those movies for the kills.
The set pieces.
Yeah, you watch those
amazingly
movies for the kills.
conducted set pieces.
They got towards the end, man. The only problem I had is they relied on CGI when they shouldn't have.
Oh, yeah,
and
yeah.
they even admit that, because there's the documentaries they've put out with them that are great. That they're like, yeah, we did a lot of practical with it, and then we covered it with CGI, and we don't know why.
Yeah.
We listened to the studio, we covered it in CGI, and the practical looked better, because they were like, and they would show the practical that they did, and they're like, the practical did look better, especially the one with the head squishing in the weight machine.
Yeah.
The practical effect they did was horrific looking, like it was great.
Yeah,
and they were
always
just like,
practical.
and they were like, we shot it that way.
Probably
but
some
then
executive was
some
like,
exec-
can we use
just put the fake blood in.
Yeah.
Put the CGI blood. By the way, CG blood pisses me off every time.
Yeah, you can tell.
Yeah, same here.
Pisses me off.
I mean, I got to say, of those movies, the fifth one, I thought they kind of went, I'd have to watch it again. I think that they went back more practical with that one. It was the fourth one that they did with 3D effects.
Yeah.
It was supposed to be, it was called The Final Destination. That was the one where they really went high on the CGI.
Well, the
and it's
second one
horrible.
with that
and that movie's
cool-
the worst one of the five.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's the one I was talking about, definitely with the one. The fifth one wasn't too bad. The fifth, they went back, but of course the fifth had the twist ending too.
Yeah.
The fifth had the twist
Right.
ending of actually being the prequel. Sorry if I spoiled that.
Oh, yeah,
whole
yeah,
movie.
yeah. I haven't
Because
seen
at the
that.
end of that, they were on the flight.
Yep.
So you're like, oh shit!
Right.
And they used footage from that they shot for the original movie that they didn't use in the original movie, different camera angle.
Yeah.
Which obviously they were just lucky they had that in stock, which is great.
Yep.
But I thought that was great that it ended up being a prequel. We all thought we were watching a sequel, and it was a prequel. And then if you go back and
Right.
watch, it's funny because if you go back and watch it, there's hints and clues that it's a prequel, because there's like different
Yeah.
times where they show dates on newspapers if you're paying attention, and there's stuff in the background
I never
that
thought.
matches up with it being from that time frame.
That's
It's
cool.
It was crazy. They did a lot of details,
Yeah.
but it was hidden enough that when you watched it on first watch, the reveal at the end was great. And then if you go back, you can Easter egg hunt.
Well,
So
that's
it's really cool.
that's the best way to do that.
I mean, Sixth Sense that's where that came from.
Yeah.
Think about it. The Sixth Sense was amazing in that. The fact that everybody did, even though there's some people that claimed, oh, I knew that. No, you
No,
didn't.
they didn't.
Nobody knew that until they went back and watched.
I used to show the Black Mirror episode in my class, White Bear, where do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah,
the
I know,
woman
I've seen it.
she's in a prison, like essentially they torture her because she murdered a kid. And I had a student, I figured it out. I was like, I wanted to tell him, fuck you, you did not. It's impossible. It's
Right, should've.
impossible. It's literally impossible to have seen that coming. It's so cleverly written. Like, there is no way. There are hints, when you go back. But holy shit, there's no way you can tell what's going to happen.
I was going to say, before Mike continues, side tangent. This is what one of the things I do despise in the world is that when people are like, I seen it coming, because it's like, dude, can you not be enjoyed? Because one of the things I enjoy in a movie, if a movie can get me at the end,
Suspend your disbelief.
Hence, and teaser alert again, and I know we're plugging it in a couple weeks when we do April Fool's Day. Why it's one of my favorite horror movies is because it has one of the greatest twist endings of all time.
Yeah.
Like the ending of that movie is phenomenal. If nobody saw that coming, if you've never seen the movie,
Yeah.
I'm just throwing that out there. There's nobody, and that's what makes it good. I want to be fooled. I don't want to know. Like my problem and why I put Us further down the list than on my
you
year in
knew
review.
immediately.
I knew within 5 minutes how that movie was going to end.
Once,
I really
once
did.
she meets that girl and the girl comes
Yep.
out, it's like, they switched.
That I knew it 5 minutes in.
Yeah.
And once again, and I'm not saying that's because I'm smart, but that's the problem is that was so predictable.
Yeah.
And I've said that Jordan Peele seems to have that as his style because Get Out was very predictable as well.
Oh, we got to talk about Antebellum, by the
yeah,
way.
we will have to talk about that. But but think about it. He's very much that style, and I've said, well, maybe that's his style. That's fine. But I love when I don't know what's going on. Like Ready or Not was a great part about it.
Yeah.
because you thought you knew, how it was going to end. Then you confused, and you're like, oh, wait a minute, maybe this is all bullshit, and then they get you, and then that's the best part about it because you're like, oh, okay, I got it.
As an audience member, you have to have the willing suspension of disbelief, and if you can't do that as an audience member, just shut your mouth. Because the movie is the movie. We all know it's fake going in. You know it's fake. So if a movie can get you to actually get into it, then you have to willingly suspend your disbelief and let it take you for that ride.
Yeah, and on the flip side of that, though, if it's a really bad twist, i.e.,
Us?
Us was there's still good parts of that movie. So there's some.
There's a few
it's not the
really-
greatest. Yeah, there's still. I'm more going to
Beach
like
Boys kill
the
is-
happening.
Yeah.
The Beach Boys kill is great, but the happening, like where there's no payoff to that twist. There really isn't. And even like Signs is a decent
liked
movie until the
Signs.
end, but that twist is horrible.
Yeah, the
so
water
the alien,
swing away.
the one thing that kills these aliens is water. So they come to a planet that's 75% covered in Water. Where water literally falls from the sky.
Where-
the first rainstorm, they're all dead.
Where the victims they're going after are made up of
Water. but think about it. The first person you slaughter, if their blood gets on you, technically it's water-based. That should be the end of you.
Yeah.
But here's the thing. As soon as a rainstorm hits, their whole planet is taken over. They're taking over the world, and then fucking here comes a thunderstorm. They're all dead.
Tsunami.
They're all dead. They're all dead. I mean, so that was why that drove me nuts. But
otherwise a good movie.
Otherwise a good movie. So equal parts. A bad twist ending can lead to a bad movie, but a good
Any
twist
movie
is
that
gonna be
breaks
great.
that suspension of disbelief, though, yeah,
It's amazing.
When it's like,
Amazing.
oh, that's so stupid, you can't even get around it. Then yeah.
So there's a big gamble there, but I applaud those who take that gamble because those are some of the best movies.
Yeah.
Mike. No, sorry, he's not in the room. So if you hear us keep saying Mike, we have to let him know because he can't see us.
Right.
No visual cues. No
location.
visual cues.
Right.
He's in a bunker.
It might be a little awkward for a while, but we're going to get through it.
Yeah, we'll get used to it.
So.
We'll get used to it.
So,
I mean, obviously,
one
you
last
can tell.
one last thing I wanted to kind of go over, and this goes back to last week's show a little bit. We were talking a lot about Batman at the beginning of the show. Now, E3 was, like everything else on the planet, was canceled this year because of the pandemic, but it was apparently this news came out about a week ago, I think. Apparently, WB Games was planning on making a huge announcement of the next Batman Arkham video game. So yeah, there's been rumors for the last year about a possible new game. A lot of the rumors.
Sorry, WB Montreal has been teasing the new game for over a year now. They've been working on it, and allegedly, because we have to say allegedly, they were allegedly going to make an announcement at E3. This year's E3 kind of got lucky getting canceled because trust me.
One of the rumors going around with it that they've been with their teases over the last year was that it was going to involve the Court of Owls, which I think is kind of a cool concept to throw into a Batman game.
Absolutely. And the first the Arkham Asylum game, like that is a horror game, I would say. There are moments in that game it's like, holy shit. Especially the Killer Croc fight, I was scared to death.
With a really cool fight system.
Yeah,
that game has got a great fight engine. The Court of Owls things, they've been doing that for a while. Like I said, allegedly, because we can only go by allegedly they were going to reveal it at E3, but that would have been like the only thing revealed at E3. So I think E3 got lucky to be canceled this year because Sony wasn't even showing up. And
Marvel wasn't.
No, Sony wasn't showing up at all. Marvel wasn't showing up for E3 about any games, and Xbox was only going to talk about the Xbox system that's coming out that everybody already knows about.
Yeah.
So it wasn't really like anything, and I don't think Nintendo had anything big planned. Nintendo has their own con now.
Yeah.
Nintendo has their own thing, so they save all their energy for theirs.
God bless Nintendo.
It's like Disney. Disney only does Comic-Con to do the Marvel movies, because outside of that, everything else gets announced at D23.
Yeah.
Because if you think about it, that's all they do is they announce that their own thing, which is smart. I get it, but for Comic-Con they'll do like one Star Wars announcement and then Marvel announcements, because then that keeps the fans whatever satisfied, if you will,
sated.
But also, San Diego Comic-Con is a lot bigger than E3. I'm just going to throw that out there.
Yeah.
Because even the video game world makes bigger announcements at San Diego Comic-Con. So.
That's true.
All right, Mike, you got anything else in the cannon?
That's it. That's all I got.
That's all for the news. Well, hey, if you guys are sitting at home and you're like, hey, you want to talk to us? Trust me, the professor's got tons of time on his hands in between. So you can hit us up and you can talk about anything on the show or anything you want us to talk about during this crisis, if you will. You can do that by going to our Facebook page. We are Horror Zone 607 on Facebook. Like that page, share that page, help us out there. Also, you can find us on Twitter and Instagram at Horror Zone 607. And of course, when you're joining the conversation, use the hashtag HZ607. Normally right now I'm plugging the website, which is 8122productions.com. Currently it is down because I am doing some stuff to it, and it was easier to just put it behind the downness to do the stuff that I want to do to it. So it will be back up. I'm just getting time right now. Retail, the world changed for all of us, and since I work in retail, it really changed for me.
Yes,
because I've been very busy in the last
on the front lines.
So hopefully I'll have more time coming up, and I'll get it back up. But 8122productions.com in the future, we go there for all your 8122 production needs. Of course, if you would like to support the show monetarily, help us pay them bills, and especially in this time of need, we could use it. Patreon.com/8122 productions. You get a ton of bonus content. We're not trying to break the bank. It only gets $1 a month, gets you in the door. That's $12 a year. or $3 for the more comfy chair, as Ken M from the ODPH says when he plugs our stuff. And we can, you'll get a whole bunch of bonus content, including Love is Scary. It's come to you every week. And last night, Hump Day, every Hump Day in March, I've been putting out a new episode of Love is Scary with Dr. Derek, because Mike's obviously secluded. And last night was the hashtag H for Heat special that everybody wanted to hear, and we have a very topical one we recorded just yesterday for the last Wednesday in March. So trust me, you don't want to miss that. And it is honestly, we have a new Patreon subscriber who thought. I don't know if he thought it beforehand. He said, but he did comment to us that he said that it is really. I know why it's behind a paywall now. Why that show is. I'm like, we get us banned from everything on every podcatcher on the planet. I'm not even joking. That is why it is behind a paywall. And so trust me, it's worth it. Plus you get the uncooked, unedited, and uncensored version of the Three Fat Nerds podcast every week. And of course, the extended bonus content, unedited version of the wrestling show that we do every week as well. So a lot of value there. And then now that I'm trying to keep myself distracted, you might even get even more stuff. We have this giant store that our studio is in that, that we do not own. I just want to point this out. This studio is provided for us. I like to do that disclaimer that, unfortunately, because of bans and stuff, isn't hosting any events because we can't. So maybe we'll take advantage of that and do some stuff for our own personal stuff. But with that being said, also, I got to thank Dragon Master Games for allowing us here. It's very trying times. If you guys are into gaming, Magic the Gathering, D&D, and if you're somewhere where you don't have a local shop, because I always say support local. Yes. You have a local shop, please support that shop. Same as comic book shops, please support your local comic book shops. We don't have comics here, but support a local restaurants, especially in these times. Especially in these times.
This is an opportunity to actually really let local businesses thrive and help them out. Because why get like a Taco Bell meal when you could get like a really good meal from like a local restaurant for takeout
they could use
at the same price.
And they could use the money. Yeah. Because trust me, they don't have a big corporation backing them.
Yeah, way better quality food too. Just like you're not eating the garbage the grade F meat that comes out of those places. So,
I don't want to beat on this too long, but I do want to make it a point, because we've been making a point in every podcast we've done, us and the Ocho Duro Parlor Hour, hashtag 607 podcast, really championing, supporting everything local and supporting independent wrestling and also independent music makers, bands like you hear on these shows. We'll get to that in a second, but let me start with Dragon Master Games. If you need a place to buy it for Magic the Gathering, D&D, all that stuff, you can find them online. So anywhere you live, it doesn't matter. They do ship. It's dragonmastergames.com. It really does help out the store because trust me, we don't own the store. I made that reference when I was talking about it on Three Fat Nerds. I didn't want people to think we don't own it. None of us do.
No.
They actually provide us with a studio. They don't pay.
Out of the kindness of their hearts.
We're friends with them. We really, we take pleasure. They allow us to do events in the studio when we want to. Unfortunately, we had to cancel our party because of, this outbreak. But at the same time, like we will be bouncing back and doing those things, and we do movie nights here, and we're going to do those in the future when everything goes back to normal. But at the same time, like they could really use the help. Because right now they're not allowed to have players here, and that's part of a gaming store. Is having like your Magic the Gathering tournaments and having Friday Night Magic and having D&D groups come in. Those groups aren't allowed to be gathered here. They can only stay open to sell stuff. So people are literally going to only come in, hang out for a few minutes, and leave.
Do you think they're going to start calling it Magic the Separating?
I don't know. I just it's horrible because the nerd community, especially, has been very good as far as these things goes. Of course, also support local. You're asking how you can support local, like your local restaurant. Even if you don't want to eat out right now, buy a gift certificate. Most of them have gift certificates or gift cards. Buy one. That will help them stay open. Believe it or not, something that simple can help somebody stay open.
Just think of
bands. Bandcamp. Bandcamp's a perfect example. We have bands. We have Floodlands / Crimson Brethren, who you hear. Check out Floodlands. Their album's up on Bandcamp. You can pick how much money you give them, even if you only have a few bucks to spare.
$2, $3.
Shout at the Robots is another band that are on the show all the time. Second Suitor is always, you hear them on the show. Phosphines from Melbourne, Australia. They've got it doubly bad. They had the fucking fires and now coronavirus.
Jeez,
So I mean, like, if you want, you can support those bands on Bandcamp, and you can pay whatever you want. That's the pay structure there, and it does go to the band.
Yeah,
and if they have merch, and I'm not even talking about obviously I want to support the bands that support us. So please, if you want to and you like the music here, please support them. But at the same time, if you have a local band that you like, support them. If they have merch, buy it. If they have an album on Bandcamp, buy it. If they have some way for you to support them, do it, please, because this is a very trying time for some people. Like, and it's going to be a hard financial time for people. And I understand if you don't have the finances, please Don't worry about it. Don't worry even about sponsoring us on Patreon if you don't have the finances. We're going to be here for free for you as well if you don't have it. But if you do and you want to help us out, even whoever, I'm more worried about them than us.
Yeah.
Because I'll make it happen.
Microphones, we can do this.
We have already paid that. We're already, as I tell people as a joke, but it's
minimal
not really
overheads.
We're already about $1,000 in a hole as a company. We don't really make any money here between the microphones, the soundboards, and all the stuff on trips and all that.
And they do have to pay me though too. They have to pay me to be
and we
here.
pay to be on our host. we pay. No, we don't pay our host. We don't pay our host because technically I host 2 shows on this damn thing, and I just don't get paid. But we don't pay our host. I also edit everything and produce everything.
Yeah.
I mean, I know I don't usually talk about myself in those roles, and I usually get mad at Mike when he brings it up. But I do all that and for free. But
it's a lot of work.
But I actually have to pay for it.
Editing stuff is a lot of work.
Well, here's the funny part. I have to pay for that too.
Yeah.
Because I pay for the hosting. So I just want to throw out to you, we, as a group, we put it, but I'm not even worried about us. I'm more worried about the Dragon Master Games of the world, the local restaurants, and the local bands. Please support those people because this is a hard time for them.
So next time you think, and I know a lot of people go to drive-thrus a lot, and just, next time you think, oh, I need some drive-thru, do not go to those franchises.
Yeah, I agree. And once again, sorry to get off my horse. We are going to take our break.
Yep.
We are going to take our break now. I just thought that was important. And I'm sorry if you don't think that's important. I'm sorry. That's a cause that we're all about. So I just want to throw it out there. Please support local stuff because they're going through hard times. With that being said, we are going to take a break. We're going to come back. We're going to come back with our horror review segment. We're going to start doing that every week now. There's not going to be a talking horror this week. Instead, we're going to have a horror review. But in the future, we're going to have both because obviously there's going to be less news. But this week, we're going to stay on topic a little bit. So you'll have to stay around to find out what that is because we'll be right back.
Hey, this is Ken M.
Padawan J.
Coach Duffy from the Ocho Duro Parlay Hour podcast, and you're listening to Rich and Mike on the Horror Zone 607 podcast.
Wait from everyone, 2 shadows laying in the sun. Together we lay our heads, the fire flows in time. Time to say goodnight, right on mine, right down tight. Soon without a sound, can't fall asleep, you're not around. You're not
All right, we are back with our Horror Zone review segment, and this is kind of topical. And the reason it's topical is because I was turning on Prime Video to get the logistics of the hunt in Invisible Man coming up there. And I turned on Prime Video, and you know how they have the trending bar? In the trending bar, out of the top movies trending, all of the Purge movies were trending. And also movies like Contagion and Outbreak, which I don't want to dive into. I said that earlier. But The Purge, I thought it was interesting that The Purge is actually now trending. Of course,
very telling.
Very telling of the times, if you will. Also a very good movie, as we all remember. So I decided, hey, let's do the first one of these about The Purge, the movie The Purge, which we got to be honest. So the movie The Purge came out in 2013, by the way.
Oh, wow, it's that old.
Yeah, it's 2013. Wait a minute. Because unfortunately, come on. Unfortunately, on Google, it took me to The Purge as a whole because the whole series is the whole series is on there. Instead
Did you guys watch Did anybody watch the Purge television?
Oh yeah, the Purge television show is amazing.
Oh yeah,
I don't know if you didn't.
I did not. I did not see any of it.
Okay, there we go. Now I got the real information up. You're just hearing live radio, folks. So, anyways, it came out on May 31st, 2013. Was the release date in the United States of America. Screenplay was written by James DeMonico. He also directed the film. It was produced, by the way, by Michael Bay, Jason Blum, Andrew Form, Brad Fuller, and Sebastian Lemercier. Kind of interesting.
Oh, Sebastian Lemercier, all of his work's great.
Yeah, I mean, of course, we know Jason Blum, hence Blumhouse.
Yeah.
This was one of the things
Michael
that really
Bay.
got Blumhouse. Michael Bay was a surprising one. I didn't realize Michael Bay was involved in this until I just read that, so that's kind of crazy. By the way, this was a very cheap movie to make. This movie cost $3 million to make.
It was on location.
Yeah, it was $3 million to make.
Probably Ethan Hawke's.
Probably mostly his pay. Do you know what they made in the box office in the U.S. alone? $89.3 million. Now you know why it's a franchise, folks.
Oh yeah.
Now you know why it is a franchise.
Boom shakalaka.
Let me give the Google description, then we're going to jump in and give us our things so that way we are on the page. In an America ravaged by crime and overcrowded prisons, the government sanctions an annual 12-hour period during which all criminal activity, including murder, is legal. James Sandin, Ethan Hawke, and his family face the ultimate test when an intruder drags the vicious outside world into their home. James, Mary, Lena Headey, and their 2 children struggle to survive the night while trying not to turn into monsters like the ones they are striving to avoid. So the Purge was the first of its kind, really, in a way.
Yeah.
It is in one location.
Home invasion.
It follows a home invasion act. It's in the home, but there's a broader story, and of course, that broader story is the Purge. So the new founding fathers, as they're known, created this, with all the crime and stuff going on, it was very much in our timeline, only it splits. I do believe in 2003 is where they split.
Yeah.
I think 2003 was the first Purge. I could be wrong on the year. Sorry if it's been a while. But anyway, so by then, this is like the 10th Purge. It's gone on for a while. And the Purge is a 12-hour period, and certain things are legal. Murder is legal. Robbery is legal. There's a lot of like capital felonies that are legal. And because they did this, believe it or not, crime rates for the rest of the year are null and void. There's zero, pretty much. So they continue to do it every year. So lead character played by Ethan Hawke, what his job is he's an executive at a company that makes Purge securities. So basically, they go into their. I mean, you see one in action because he's selling them to people, but he goes into his home.
That's how the movie starts, right? He's like
explaining them, explaining them, and then he goes into his home and you see it in action because he turns it on, and all these metal doors come over all the doors and windows, and it seals the house.
It's like
it's got
panic room, basically.
Yeah, and it's got its own oxygen system. Remember, he talks about that, so you don't even have to. So nobody can even smoke you out through your chimney or something. It's got its own stuff. Everything is like there's nothing that can happen. It's impenetrable. And that's the premise of the movie. And he sells these things, and of course he has when he lives in a wonderful neighborhood. As somebody who had that much money would. Mm-hmm. Well, the problems come in as his son he sees a African American gentleman in the neighborhood running, and he's kind of fucked up, obviously, because people are hunting him. And he sees him, and he opens the door and lets him in, and then recloses the door. Well, the people who were hunting them were a bunch of young, I would say college-age students.
Entitled,
very
rich
entitled,
folk.
And speak very prim and proper, by the way.
Yeah.
Because remember, the first announcement at the door is, Mr. Sandin.
Yeah.
You are keeping us from our constitutional right to purge.
Who is that actor, by the way?
I do. Hold on. Let me get I have the actors down here.
We can't have that air. So
Max Burkholder. Yeah. Or no, that's the kid. Sorry. Rise Wakefield was the polite stranger. Okay. By the way, that's his name in the movie, Polite Stranger.
That's cool.
Edwin Hodge played the Bloody Stranger. He's the guy that most of these people don't even have names. I just want to throw that out. So he's the place. Max Buckholder played Charlie Sand, and that was the kid that let him in.
Well, it's very realistic that they don't have names because it's not like there would be a time to, oh, hey, I'm this person from, and I used to do this, and this is what we're,
yeah.
When are you going to have that conversation?
I'd agree with you. I'd be more weirded out if they were like, hey, by the way. So anyways, this movie takes place in the house, and of course they get in and let the fun ensue. I'm just going over the stuff, and then we're going to go over with and things happen, but good body count. One of my favorite is he shotguns the one chick, and she looks like a flying squirrel as she gets shotgunned. And of course the neighbors come to the rescue, but they don't. The neighbors are actually there to kill the family.
Yeah, they're taking part. They're participating.
And then actually the fun part is that's when the Bloody Stranger comes in, because he returns the favor. As you think that our Sandin family is going to get, the father is murdered, but as you think that the rest of the family is going to get it, he comes out and he's willing to kill them for this family. And the mother says, nope, we're going to sit at the table, we're going to wait it out. And of course, then the siren goes off. And how uncomfortable is that? I love the ending of this movie, but we're just going to start there, and then you guys can dive in what you think. I love the ending of this movie because how uncomfortable is it if you came there to kill somebody, they're making you sit at a table, you aren't able to kill them, but now you have to face this person who every day that you try to kill. Yeah. Like, I was like, that's an ingenious ending. And of course, everybody leaves at the end of the day and goes out the front door when the Purge alarm sounds. Yeah. So with that being said, Mike, from your bunker, what do you think about the Purge? And does your bunker have Purge security on it, brother?
Yeah, I just installed it this morning, actually.
Oh, good stuff.
Yeah, good call.
So yeah,
You might need it because I'm coming for you.
Yeah, actually, while we were recording the show, my mother tried to call in. I hope that didn't cut out because I was actually talking about.
I think we heard the
time.
click, but that was
that's it. You're fine.
Yeah, well, she was actually bringing me food supplies.
Oh, awesome.
So,
awesome.
She's a class
I
act.
had to put down the security because I thought she was going to come and kill me.
Ah,
so,
okay, yeah. But you put it right back down, though, right? You
it
didn't
was
leave
someone
up.
with your mom mask. They had a Miss
she had a face
Ciatoli
of
mask.
She had a mask on, and it was very uncomfortable for everybody in the house.
Yeah.
So yeah, my mom she's been taking good care of me. She's been finding supplies and dropping it off to me when I needed it. So because I can't find any, but the Purge, the rest of the series, I like everything. I wasn't a huge fan of the first Purge because I just recently finally saw that, and I still haven't seen
The film, the
third
first
one.
Purge. The first
Right,
Purge.
yes,
Yes.
the film,
Yeah.
the first Purge,
Yeah.
the prequel.
The prequel,
I
the
just
last
saw
one
that
in
a couple
line,
of weeks ago, finally. So the only one I haven't seen was the third one. The other ones in the TV series, although there's horrific things going on, I really don't classify them as a horror movie. The first one was very much a horror movie, though.
Yeah,
it was very much
survival
almost slasher-esque. Yeah, slasher horror, but it almost had it almost had like a slasher feel to it to me. So I don't know if it's the masks or what, but it's a terrifying movie, very well acted. One thing that I guess I'm not a fan of is, from the series standpoint, is I wish that there had been a direct sequel to this one, or I hope that they go back and they do a direct sequel at some point, just to kind of follow up with the family and the neighbors and stuff. I don't know. I think there's more story there.
That I could agree with you. I do like that ending though, where you just okay, that happened, and we're just gonna go about our normal business, and you tried to kill us, and that's okay, fine. These are your neighbors,
right?
That's such a cool concept. If it's left open, that's fine, but yeah, there is more to work with. I agree with you there.
Yeah, I definitely agree. I thought it was a great premise. I mean, the natural relation is going out into the world, and making things happen. I don't know. I really always enjoyed it. It is what it is.
As far as close contained thrillers go, though, or like horror movies, like there were a few like home invasion movies like that was kind of becoming popular around the time.
Yeah,
but this one,
Strangers.
This one, Strangers. Them. Do you remember them?
Yeah, I remember them.
That was a creepy one. And what this one did is it brought in like a science fiction concept, high concept science fiction into the mix
with the political aspect.
So like this is an alternate history, like almost like Plot Against America, which is coming out on HBO, which is pretty cool. Like an alternate history, like 2003-ish is where you say it diverges.
I think it's around 2003.
So like we have this alternate United States where this is happening, and so that's like pretty high sci-fi concept stuff with the home invasion thriller with horror movie elements. Like that's just brilliant writing. That's just good writing.
I mean, I think where the sequels diverse from the original and make them less horror is because they dive more into the government conspiracy side.
Yeah.
They start to dive into, I mean, there is carnage and there is that, but you get to see that there's this whole conspiracy by the government to eliminate people, because that's one of the big things in those movies is that the government is actually out there killing off the poor.
Yeah.
Whether it was Anarchy, which was second, or Election Year, which was the third movie, and then the first Purge, even mostly the first Purge is heavy on that.
Oh yeah, a little heavy-handed.
Yeah, because they do it in that apartment building in New York City.
Yeah,
and it's all the military trained people.
Yep.
So it's interesting.
The second movie felt more like an action movie.
Yeah.
Like I like it, but it was just basically like an action movie, though.
It was like the Warriors with guns.
Yeah.
Because as you made it to a different
Frank
part.
Grillo, he was great. But,
he was great. But I'm just saying, it was like the movie The Warriors, because you were going through each part of the city, and each part had their own little gang or clique, if you will.
Yeah.
And it was like, but with guns. I think that was the best way to explain Purge Anarchy.
Yeah. Yeah.
I like the Edwin Hodge, the stranger from the first one, the guy that they let in the first one. I like that he was in the second one. I guess he's in the third one too.
Okay.
But I like that he was actually, that they carried on his character. He was the only one that was in the first three movies.
Okay. Didn't even catch on to that, really.
Yeah.
He ended up being the leader in the second one. There was from what I remember, I only saw it once and it was years ago, but there was like a masked group of guys and you didn't know what they were doing. and turns out they were actually trying to take down the founding fathers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they were helping people
he
out
was the leader
too.
of that group.
Yep.
Yeah,
Now I remember.
Like I said, the concept is definitely grown and is great. I love the show. I love the movies, and I love the fact that they've built this universe, if you will. But I agree. I think the first one stands out to me as being a horror film,
Very
and
unique.
very good, unique horror film. Like I said, it does have slasher elements. I'll agree with Mike there, but at the same time, there's not a high body count because you shouldn't have a high body count in something that's in such close quarters.
Well, the body count ends up being the bad guys for the most part.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah, which is-
except for
it's
the
like a
dad,
reverse
except for Ethan
slasher
Hawke.
in a way.
Yeah. It's almost it's S to like a Last House on the Left,
Yeah.
where it's what would you do when faced with protecting your family?
Yeah.
Because that's how Last House on the
Right.
Left. The villain becomes the hero, if you will, or the hero becomes the villain in a way. Because if you think about Last House on the Left, that's very much the premise. You mean they killed off the daughter. You know, I know we're not reviewing that movie this week, but still think about it. They killed off the daughter, then they end up at their house, and what would you do? It puts you in. I think that's what makes that movie terrifying, especially the original version. I mean, the sequels, the remake is
Underrated.
Well, here's the thing. I love the fact that the remake's more violent.
Yeah.
The remake is really violent. Like the remake is more disturbing because of the violence than the original. The
original
is
felt like it was-
uncomfortable because of the sex. Because there's a lot of the rape in the
Yeah.
is heavier on the rape, less on the violence.
And it
whereas
felt like
the
it was-
remake was like very violent.
The original Last House on the Left felt like it was real though too.
Right.
Like, it was like, ugh.
Right, but
I think it might have been.
but it might have been a snuff film. But if you think about it, but my point still stands, and that's why I said that's where this movie kind of falls in, and where it gets the horror element. Because
Yeah.
what would you do to protect your family? You would
Absolutely.
go above and beyond, because it's not, and they're not about killing people. That's why they're hiding out during the purge. But
Yeah.
when the chips were on the line, they start picking people off. Same thing in
Hills
that.
Have
What
Eyes.
happened? What? Yeah, exactly. But what happens in Last House on the Left? I mean, your daughter is raped. You have the opportunity to get rid of the rapist who raped and
Oh, man.
what your daughter, and guess what? Are you going to do it? And it shows you the evil within a normal person. I think that's the horror of the Purge.
Yeah, the performances
is you see the horror
especially.
of that. But then you see that the humanity is still there too.
Yeah.
Because if you think about it, he's only doing it out of necessity. He's not really whatever. And then the family itself, at the end, you see that humanity is still there because she's like, nope, not going to kill you. But I
Yeah.
think it's almost more of a dick move. Like I said before, that's one of my favorite parts is I'm going to make you sit here. We're going to hear the buzzer. Although the one lady goes for the gun and she breaks her nose. Remember that?
Yeah,
That's
yep.
hilarious. Don't fucking move again.
Yeah.
I'm just like, yes.
Yes.
But I'm going to make this uncomfortable for you because
Yeah.
then you're going to have to see us until we are able to move. You're going to have to see us and know that you are going to kill us. And you know that I know you're going to kill us.
Yeah.
And so maybe next year on the Purge, maybe I won't have the same philosophy. Maybe next year
We'll come
I'm
for
going to
you.
hunt
Yeah.
you.
Yeah.
And that has to be in the back of your mind. Like
Yeah.
if it's revenge coming. I think that's why I think the dynamics, and it's such a good movie. If you have not seen it, you can find it on YouTube.
Yeah.
The YouTube movies, which $3.99 by the way, not too bad. Amazon Prime is also $3.99. Google Play Movies $3.99. I'm not sure if it's on any of the platforms. It doesn't say on here, but I do want to play a little game that we play from time to time, and let's see how close people can get on the ratings. So.
Okay.
The first two are going to be points, so 1 point whatever. We'll go by Price is Right rules. I like that. And the first one we'll do is Roger Ebert. It's out of 4, but it can have points. So Rafe, because you're in the room, what do you think it is?
Who's Rafe?
Okay, sorry, the professor. Same difference. So what do you think it got out of 4 from Roger Ebert?
From Roger Ebert was alive when he?
It's just
it's from RogerEbert.com.
Yeah, Robert
okay.
Ebert.
I'd say 3.5 out of 3.
3. Okay, Mike, what do you think it got?
The first movie, I would say 3 out of 5 or 3 out of 4.
Roger Ebert gave it a 1.5 out of 4. Sorry, so you go through.
Wow.
IMDb
Idiot.
is next,
Idiot.
and this is out of 10. IMDb out of 10.
And these are an amalgamation
Yep,
for
yep.
IMDb.
Yeah, yep,
It's like
yep.
a bunch of reviews. Okay.
So out of 10 with points. Mike, what did the IMDb give this? Out of 10.
Boy, after the Ebert score, I'd say a 6 out of 10.
Okay.
So this includes like audience stuff, or is this
This is
critics?
just it's just critics.
I'm gonna go with 7.
Okay. Mike was closer, but you're both wrong. 5.7 out of 10.
Jesus.
Rotten Tomatoes. Now this is a combination of critics and user scores.
Wait, are we gonna do the critics reviews first?
No, it's just a combination. It's the overall
because
score.
they do the audience score.
Yeah. This is the overall score they used to. I'm just pulling off of
Okay.
Google. What Rotten Tomatoes overall score? What do you think this is at out of 100%? Professor.
That's,
Don't want to mess up the name again.
yeah, that's right. That's Professor to you. The 8 out of 10.
So at 80%?
80%.
It's a percent out of 100.
Yeah, percent.
So 80%?
80%.
Mike.
Earth to Mike.
I'm gonna
He's
say,
calculating.
I don't know. This one's kind of
He's-
surprising
he's
me because
crunching
it
the
seems
numbers.
like
It seems like
I
a lot of
remember
things are low,
people-
right?
This is a good movie.
Yeah, I remember a lot of people liking the sequels more than the original. Now that we're talking more about
Really?
this, so I'm going to say more like 40%.
Damn, you got a random number. Rotten Tomatoes is 40%, which is
40?
surprising to me.
What?
But here's the telling one:
Wow.
Google users are usually, this is all of us. There's no critics.
The
in
common
this.
man
This is the common
and
man.
woman.
People who buy. I'm gonna hit the like button because I liked it. Didn't change the score. Okay, Mike,
the
you can go
millions of
first.
reviews.
You can go first, Mike. Well, you never know. We could be on that one point that changes it over.
Yeah.
So, Mike, out of 100%, what did Google users give this? Mind you, this is only fans. So there could be detractors too, but fans.
And this is out of 100 points,
100%. Yep.
65.
Professor.
80%.
Professor gets this right, man.
Yes.
85% on Google. So see,
Wow.
it is fans love this movie.
Yeah,
it's just
it's a good
and
movie.
obviously critics don't.
Yeah, critics can go like there's no more worthless job than being a critic, I will say, because like these are people when they judge something, I'd like to see them do something better. You know, like if you really dislike this movie, make something better then. I'd like to see what you could do, buddy. You know, like that's the kind of attitude I have with critics.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, good stuff.
Like if they've never
You
made
do
a
realize we write reviews too, there, Professor.
Well, yeah, but
We're
we have
critics.
some experience, and I've made movies, I've edited things, I've done I make things, you know, like we have these experiences, and you know, like I would love to take that challenge. Like if I'm going to judge something, I would love to take the challenge and make a better version, like see what I would do if I had the means to do it. So like a lot of these critics really like unless the criticism I always pay attention to are the other filmmakers, not so much the critics in their tower. Like they've never made a movie, they've never made anything other than just criticizing people for stuff. So like unless the person has actually made a movie or is a writer, like experienced in writing stories, or like a screenwriter or someone who writes scripts, unless they do the actual work, then I don't really credit their view.
Yeah, I agree with you. That's why I say I take it and leave it for critics. I don't always listen. I try to find a critic that I agree with.
Yeah.
Sometimes you will find you can find critics that
You can
have
tell-
similar views, and I usually look to them because I feel like they're gonna have a similar view to mine. I don't. With that being said, I don't ever go to the big websites because those guys are usually easily bought.
Yeah,
those guys are the ones that hey, we're gonna fly you to the premiere.
Like
we're gonna
Peter
take care of this.
Travers.
Yeah, a lot of those guys. A lot of those guys are really, believe it or not, paid for their positive review.
Yeah.
So that's real. That's just
And
a
they
thing.
just want to get their blurb on the DVD or Blu-ray box, and and see, like it's just a thing. Like if you can tell in the writing too, and what they talk about and what they actually analyze. If they're analyzing like really the technical aspects of the filmmaking and the storytelling and the performances and all that, you can tell when someone knows what they're talking about. But a lot of these critics are really just trying to get their personality out there and like, this is who I am
Right.
and this is what I think. And, so those are the ones I avoid. And especially I count the critics who have experience, like a Patton Oswalt, right? Like I look to Patton Oswalt a lot for like pop culture stuff. And this guy has written screenplays. He's written a film. He's, performed. He's a performer. He's an actor. He has the experience. His view of a film is higher on the list than some newspaper guy in Broome County who has never made or even like watched like
Right. No,
a lot of movies. Like you can watch enough movies if you study movies. Your viewpoint is more legitimate than some average Joe who never watches anything.
Well, yeah, I looked a lot of times on nerdy stuff. I looked Kevin Smith.
Yeah, Kevin Smith.
Kevin Smith does a good job because he's coming from the place of a fan.
Yeah, and he's made films.
He's made films, so he knows the technical side. But a lot of times his review is from the place of a fan.
Yeah,
and Patton does the same thing. And they can break down the technicals and they'll tell you what they thought technically.
Exactly.
But they'll also tell you that this is what I felt as a fan.
Yeah,
and that's what I look for in critics because you can find them on smaller websites and stuff. They're just breaking things down as a fan. I mean, even if they get paid, they're not being paid exactly by the companies.
Yeah.
They're getting paid to write the article. But at the same time, they're coming at it as a fan.
Yeah.
I really get bogged down when they start dissecting things and trying. When you start hearing them compare things to other movies that have nothing to do with that movie, then you know you're in trouble.
Like AV Club especially is really bad with this. Like and Pitchfork reviews and stuff. Sometimes you get like a few paragraphs and they haven't even gotten to talking about the movie or what they're reviewing yet. It's just like, oh, this is my experience as a child and this is why I feel the way, this is my personality, and now I'm going to talk about the movie. It's like, fuck you, get to the point, get to the movie. We don't care who you are. I don't care who you are. Just tell me, like, does it work as a movie? You know?
It's like there's and we're not going to give his name, but Mike has a favorite critic on Bloody Disgusting, since we do horror stuff.
Oh, that guy.
And this guy, literally, if it doesn't fit into his political agenda, will shit out a movie.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I'm not going to say his name. I have his name, but I'm not going to blast him.
There's so many of those though that like it's like paragraph of just like this is how I was raised, this is what I view politically, this is how I view things, and this movie, and then they finally get to the movie. And I, like with my students, I'm like, get to the point. I don't want the fluff. I don't care about who you are or what you're doing. Just get to the point. Do you understand the information? Do you understand what's going on? And it's pretty clear in some of the writing when they don't understand what they're talking about.
I look at it like this. I mean, I think we do a good job, both of you guys that do a lot of reviews for us. I think we do a good job about being a fan. I mean, yes, you break down some of the technicals and the atmosphere and the music and stuff like that. That's part of being a fan. That's part of what sets the mood.
It excites you.
But at the same time, it's coming from a place of a fan.
Yeah.
It's coming from like your feelings about why you love or hate a movie or are indifferent about it, or because as a fan did it entertain me.
Yeah.
And I feel like that gets lost sometimes, especially when you start getting bogged down into, oh, does it fit my politics? Or, oh, does it? I don't care about your politics. I don't care how you grew up. And I'm not saying that in a mean way. I really am not. I'm just saying I don't care. That doesn't make, to me as a fan, and if I want to go to see a movie, I just care if I'm going to like the movie.
Yeah.
And if you like the movie, there's a chance that I might like it. And why did you like it?
Yeah.
Not because of some, I've never liked a movie in my life because it reminded me of my childhood.
Yeah.
I've never liked a movie in my life because it fit into some political or religious or whatever belief I have.
Yeah.
I've never liked a movie for those reasons. I can promise you that.
Yeah.
It's not even what I'm thinking about. When I'm in a movie, you know what I think about? Do I like this fucking movie or not?
Yeah.
Did I waste 2 hours of my life or an hour and a half or whatever it is of my life sitting here? Like, you know when you're sitting in a theater and you're 45 minutes into a movie and you're like, this feels like forever. This is horrible. And then you sit there.
And that's how I felt with Halloween 2018.
Yeah. You're the only one that felt that way in this.
You are the only person in the world that felt.
Well,
that.
no, there's a few others, but I've equated this. Mike is a real life professional hater.
Yes,
he's the hipster of horror movies.
Yeah.
He's the hipster of horror movies. If somebody loves something, he will find a way to not love it.
Yeah,
and even things.
By
the way,
I've
even
been very
things
fair
that
with my reviews for the most part. Most of my reviews I give 6, 7, 8 out of 10.
I know.
Yeah.
I'm just picking on you.
Yeah, we're just
calm
joking.
down. Don't get all.
No, you guys are.
Don't destroy that bunker.
Mean.
Don't hurt yourself and come out of that bunker because you're upset. Just stay.
It's going to turn into
You know what?
Yosemite
I've got
Sam.
nowhere to run right now.
Yeah, and those walls are made of metal since you changed it over, so you can't even punch the walls.
Yeah,
so calm it down in there. But no, seriously though, like I just like to bust on you. But on a serious note though, like you can, but that's the whole dichotomy here. And we represent 3 different people about Halloween 2018.
Yeah,
Mike hated it. You loved it.
Yeah,
and I gave it a little above average. I enjoyed the movie. It entertained me.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, was there problems? Yeah.
Does it work as a movie, though?
Yeah. Once again, it does. But that's what I say. I even break it down to people. That's what I even if I give it a lower score, I can tell somebody I've given a movie a lower score and I've been like, hey, you need to go see this.
Yeah.
Why? Because there was entertaining aspects of the movie, but as a movie, it failed.
Yeah.
Whatever reason, it did not catch my one of the main ones. We just went and saw The Grudge not that long ago. I didn't like the movie at all. I think I gave it a 3. If I
10?
remember, if I remember correctly, I gave it a real low score.
I haven't even
but
seen it yet.
it has one of the most disturbing kills in the movie. There's a couple really good scenes in the movie, so I'm like, hey, if you have time, don't rush out and go see it. But if you have time and it's on VOD, watch that shit. You know, if it comes on Shudder or Netflix, give it a watch, because there's some scenes in that movie that are literally worth seeing.
Yeah.
However, the movie as a whole, kind of boring, and it's just too slow building.
These artists, it takes a lot of time to make a movie, from screenplay to actual production to actually finishing the thing. A lot of energy from a lot of creative people, and to tear something apart just because you personally didn't like it is bullshit. Because again, I'd like to see you do better. I'd like to see your version. What would you have done that would have been better? So usually I give the benefit of the doubt. I try to be as unbiased as possible. The best sources are unbiased. That's with my students. I'm like, when you're finding sources for research papers, you got to find the unbiased, objective information. And you got to look for the reviewers who are like, the movie works. It works as a movie. Technically, it's a movie. It has a beginning, middle, end. There are characters. They go through conflicts. Things happen. They overcome those conflicts or they don't. There's themes, there's messages. So if a movie has that, then usually you're going to get like a 2.5, 3 out of 4 stars from me. And then when it's exceptional, when it's like mind-blowing, like holy shit, you have to see this, that's when it's like 4 or 5 stars or beyond.
No, I got you. I that's what I said. I know that we criticize and we review things. That's what we do.
Yeah.
And I understand that, but there's a place being fair and not being fair. And and sometimes I think that some of the critics, they're not fair because it's not because they're not entertained. It's because they
personally they can't get over their own personality. Yeah.
I mean, I admit to that happens. Like I gave the Joker a lower score.
Yeah.
And not a low score. I still said that it's one of the greatest performances of all time by Joaquin Phoenix. He deserved to win an Oscar, which he did.
Yep.
And I said that you need to see it just for his performance.
Yeah.
But I did lower the score because I was like, you know what? When I go to a movie, I don't need something over politicized.
Well,
I didn't need them turning Thomas Wayne into a Donald Trump surrogate.
Yeah.
I didn't need them turning, telling me rich people bad, poor people good.
Well, it's
and Todd Phillips admitted to it. That was his goal in the movie.
It's a questionable movie anyways because all it is he took Taxi Driver and King of Comedy and put them together.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I agree, but I knew that right away.
And then he made them the Joker.
Once again, Joaquin Phoenix is great as Arthur Fleck.
Yeah.
However,
I
took away from
saw it, by the way.
Huh?
And I finally saw it. I bought it over the weekend.
Okay.
And I got to tell you, first of all, maybe it's because I just got so into it, but I really didn't feel the political messages in it because I was really into it. Towards the end, I felt it a little bit, but Joaquin Phoenix, man, I felt so bad for the poor
It's enough.
guy.
He does enough in that. He carries that movie
to make it worth watching still. But I'm just saying I took points
Yeah.
away because it was definitely an overtone. Especially, and I mean, I guess where you didn't get it as much, and I mean, I know the professor would get it. We're comic book fans.
Yeah.
And we know who Thomas Wayne was.
Yep.
And that portrayal of Thomas Wayne was nothing like Thomas Wayne. Now, if it would have
I
been
did
Bruce's,
kind of-
if it
I
would have
was
been
like,
Bruce's think about it, if it would have been Bruce's grandfather of all we know now, then okay, it would have fit. But Thomas Wayne is considered to be one of the best men
always
in
benevolent,
Gotham.
like
and that's
always
why
helping
his death made Gotham suffer.
Yeah.
And that was one of the things that has always been driving. If he was really as bad as they made him, and they, like I said, they made him basically a Trump surrogate. If he was bad as they portrayed him to be, they didn't care when he died.
Yeah.
But in the world of Gotham, in the comic book world, his death was a big tragedy, not just for the Wayne family, but for Gotham as a whole.
Yeah.
Because he was a humanitarian.
Absolutely.
So, like, to paint him in a different light, and mind you, it's because I'm a comic book
It's like
fan.
a one shot though. Like it's okay to do that in the comic books. You have those one shots where like you have an alternate version of things, so it does kind of work.
Right, and like I said, I only deducted some points.
Yeah.
Like instead of giving that an 8 or a 9, I dropped it down to a 6.5, 7.
Yeah,
and so it's not like I was unbrutally fair, but I was just saying personally,
that's not Thomas Wayne.
Well, personally, I didn't like the didactiveness.
Yeah.
It's like don't take stuff to make it into what your political element is.
Yeah,
I don't sound like being movies that are didactic. I really don't. I'm more about, hey, I want to forget, just like the podcast, and I say this to you guys. I want to make this as fun as possible because people listening to this are dealing with real life.
Yeah.
Let's entertain.
Yes.
And I mean, I guess that's a place where we come from in our reviews. So, great podcast though.
Yeah.
But if you guys want to tell us how you felt about The Purge, or anything we talked about, or anything you would like us to talk about, you got a movie you want us to review, anything, we're open to any suggestions, or just want to say hi, especially because, the professor's wandering around the world now that he doesn't have a place to be, really.
Yeah.
You can do that by going on Facebook.
And poor Mike's in the bunker.
Yeah, Mike is in the bunker. We got to send him as much love as we can.
I'm underground.
Yes, I know.
It sounds like it.
You're not supposed to discose the bunker situation.
It sounds like you're underground.
It's just an undisclosed bunker. You can't say you're underground. You can't say you're above ground. You can't say that you just got to.
Doesn't bunker imply underground?
Bunker does imply underground, but people
It
build,
might be in the air. You
People
never
build above
know.
ground.
It could be an
Don't tell
above-ground
them.
bunker.
Don't tell them that you spent all that money.
Bunk bed?
Don't tell the people you spent all that money to be in one of those former military silos that they have turned into a bunker situation. Don't tell them that you're actually in Kentucky right now, sir. We were going to leave that off the podcast.
You just gave it away.
You said it first. Anyways, if you want to make sure that he
you
has,
told him I'm in Kentucky.
I don't remember. I don't recall it, sir. Anyways, if you want to help keep him time in between him going to the spa and the gym and the pool that's in the bunker, because he's in one of those rich bunkers.
Yeah.
Son of a bitch.
Bastard.
Meanwhile, we're out here starving. That's our political goal. Down with the rich. Mike C. No, I'm joking. It's all a joke, folks.
What do you think took all the toilet paper?
Real life villain.
Son of a bitch.
Real life villain. But anyways, if you would like to drop him a line, or in all seriousness now, if you would like to drop him a line, drop us a line. Let us know what's going on. Facebook, we are Horror Zone 607. Like and share that page. We are on we're on Twitter, and Instagram at Horror Zone 607.
And on Facebook.
Actually, you can type in at Horror Zone 607 on Facebook, find us as well.
Yeah.
But anyways, Twitter and Instagram at Horror Zone 607. Hashtag HZ607 for any time you want to talk about the horror show here. And of course, 8122productions.com will be back up. It's getting renovated right now, so it's down. So if you go there, don't freak out. It will be back up soon. Just kind of doing some spring cleaning, if you will.
Just trying to get it up.
Well, here's the I'll be honest with you. Here's the real problem. We had future events and stuff on there that no longer exist.
Yeah.
Due to the coronavirus. So we're I have to fix the things.
Just got to get it up.
Gotta get it up.
Gotta get it up.
Yeah, they make pills for that. Anyways, of course, if you would like to sponsor us or support us monetarily during these times, you can do that and get a ton of bonus content. Patreon.com/8122productions. Trust me, you will not be disappointed. Only $1 a month. That is $12 a year, or $3 if you month if you really want to get a comfier seat. But anyways, we appreciate anything we can get. If not, we will keep bringing you the fun and the free entertainment. Remember, support local.
You could get a handwritten letter from the professor.
Yeah, you might. Yeah. Here's the thing: support local. Please support your local restaurants, game shops, comic book shops.
Kill the franchises.
Yeah, whatever. Just please support this. Everybody in the time you need. If you need gaming needs, DragonMasterGames.com. They support us. We support them. So please hit them up for any of your Magic the Gathering, D&D, dice, cases, anything gaming related. Hit them up. But if you have a local store and you want to hit that up instead, feel free. Please support.
If there's a local store we should know about that we don't, and you want to tell us about,
support them local restaurants. Buy them gift cards.
Let us know so we
gift
can
cards
tell.
and gift certificates are always good in time of need. If you don't need anything right now, if you want to donate to that cause, please do.
We will
of course
help.
Support local musicians. Bandcamp's the perfect way to do that. If they have a website or a Facebook page and they have merch, do that. Whatever it takes, please. We need to come together for that. I know we're driving it home once again. I promise we won't go in as long. But please, I want to drive home. Please support people in this time of crisis. With that, that's all I got, Mike. So take them home.
All right. Well, thank you guys for holding down the fort for me this week, and however many weeks in the future that we have to do it this way. So I appreciate that. I just want to, again, wish everybody well out there. Everybody stay healthy. Everybody stay safe. We're going to keep bringing you this show, keep you guys occupied, and we hope you enjoy the content that we bring you. The show might be a little bit different for a while, but we're going to keep having fun because that's what we do.
Yeah.
So Professor.
Yeah.
Thank you, sir.
Hey, anytime.
Yeah.
I'm
Rich,
here.
sorry.
I'm here.
His eyes just rolled back and I
Rich.
said, "Hold on."
Yeah.
He's back.
Jeez. You know what? I take everything back.
No, I think he had an episode. Sorry.
We're trying not to. We're trying not to get too corona in the studio. We're not going to clean this before you come back either.
That's
I'm
fair
joking.
enough.
I'm joking.
Fair enough. There are no wipes left anyway.
We're gonna wipe it down.
We're gonna Clorox clean this whole office when it's all said and done.
Spray it all down.
We should do that because Diesel.
In more ways than one, spray it down.
I was gonna say, oh, trust me, Diesel's in the studio. It's been sprayed down in that way. Don't worry about it. We're all
that's
sitting in a
true. You guys
spot.
got to be careful of that.
Don't bring a black light in here is all I'm saying. Love is scary. It can be real scary.
Yeah.
Anyways, yeah.
absolutely.
Thanks, Mike.
Yeah, no, thank you, buddy. Thank you for Skyping me in. And, who knows where I'll be next week. I might be in my undisclosed bunker. I could be someplace else. I could be in my own personal Lear jet. Who knows where I'm going to be. But I will be here, as you guys will be as well. And, we just hope you guys will keep tuning in and having fun with us. So until then, this is Mike C. saying, see ya.